Hello, and welcome back to the channel. So today, me and Gimmo are starting a segment of the channel called Game Sentience Theories, where we talk about video game theories that I come up with pertaining to different aspects of video games. So, we'll delve deep into different video games and discuss the theories I come up with pertaining to different aspects of those games. So, we hope you'll join us on this journey, and here we go. So, yeah. Alright, to kick things off in this new segment, we're going to discuss my theory of the symbolism of Dead Space's markers, Necromorphs, and Brother Moons. It's going to be good. So, here we go. So, this is a theory I came up with some odd years ago, and it goes like this. So, here we go. Bear with me. So, it's debated which came first, the markers or the Brother Moons. But let's say for the sake of this discussion, the moons came first. So, in this scenario, the Brother Moons would create markers to create more Brother Moons through what's called convergence. Essentially what Unitology refers to when they say, make us whole. So, when a marker is activated, it has a side effect, a demonic type of infection that turns living beings into a living undead known as Necromorphs. And once the marker is activated, shortly after, it ascends to the sky, pulling all living beings and living matter and a little of dirt and rock from the ground into the sky with it. So, once all this matter reaches a point in space, the marker, dirt, and all living matter bond together and form a singular mass, and this singular mass achieves consciousness and sentience and becomes a living entity known as a Brother Moon, through a process known as convergence. So, now that you understand the history and origins of the markers, moons, and necromorphs, my theory is this. So, here we go. The markers are a source of infinite power, electricity-wise, and all species who find one, if not more markers, will try to replicate the marker to draw from the unlimited power in it. But it always ends with a necromorph outbreak and infestation. So, the Dead Space lore says the markers are deemed divine in origin and sacred to those who find them. But if the markers are divine, then why the necromorph outbreak? Well, perhaps it's not the original markers, the ones dug up that were created by an unknown civilization millennia ago, that create the outbreak, but the markers that are duplicated by a species who find the original markers. Because if you play the games, you'll know that it's only the duplicated markers that unleash a necromorph outbreak. Essentially put, because of our mortal, sinful nature, when we humans try to play or become like God, recreate the divine markers, our God status we try to ascend to always becomes corrupted by our sinful nature, which is represented by the necromorphs. We cannot ascend to and become like God in this mortal flesh and universe because our sinful nature will always corrupt that which we try to achieve to in the name of becoming like God. Essentially put, humans have made enormous leaps in science, medical, and technology that should have been for good and should have ascended humanity up to God's status. But in our corruptible mortal nature, we've decided to weaponize those leaps in the name of war and bloodshed. So, another part of my theory is the convergence leading to the creation of a Brother Moon. Essentially put, after the necromorph outbreak, all infected beings cease to exist. Essentially they die when they become necromorphs. And if the markers are created by the Brother Moons to create more moons, essentially when convergence commences, and all necromorphs, living matter, and dirt ascend to the sky to create a Brother Moon, essentially all necromorphs, the living matter, dirt, and marker, are essentially reunifying with their creator, kind of like how religion says you were created by God's hand, you will live on this earth till you die, then once you die, you'll reunite with God's hand again. Essentially put, because the Brother Moons are all linked by telepathy and can sense each other, when convergence creates one moon, it is joined to a single consciousness, the hive mind, that makes up the entity of the Brother Moons. Essentially, you're created by the Creator, you live your life, and then when you die, you reunite with the Creator again. So essentially this is represented by the Brother Moons in convergence. So, my theory essentially says this. Here we go. Mankind is sinful in nature. Our mortal flesh is corrupted and corruptible by sin, which is represented by the necromorphs. And essentially put, while we exist in our mortal flesh and universe, we will never be gods. For whenever we, mortal human beings, try to become like God, essentially duplicate the divine markers, our sinful nature corrupts it, which is represented by the necromorphs. Essentially, for example, like making leaps in scientific technology meant for good, but allowing it to be weaponized for more, which is evil. But it is only through shedding our mortal flesh, leaving this mortal universe, through death, which is essentially represented by convergence, and reuniting with our Creator, which is essentially a God or brother moons in the game, that we will be as one with God or Creator. And because we are no longer shackled to our sinful flesh and bound by moral restraints, we mortal beings can finally, only through unification with our Creator, essentially God, or in the game, the brother moons, can we finally become gods ourselves. Essentially, convergence is finished, and the brother moons have become whole. And essentially, our Creator will make us whole. So, that's essentially it. So, what if that is the message of Dead Space and the symbolism behind the markers, Necromorphs, and brother moons? So, what if? So, that's my theory. So, what do you think? Pretty crazy, huh? So, anyways, that's my theory. So, yeah. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. So, see ya. Bye.